Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the plethora of clocks that are in this room, we have a clock we use here that says it's 6:30, which means we call our combined agenda and regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council to order on this date of December 5th, 2022. Would we all please rise to honor our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please read the Sunshine Law into the record?
Roll call. Roll call. Councilman Charles DePiero.
Roll call. Apologies.
Here.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Schneider.
Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel.
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zura.
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen.
Present. Now the Sunshine Law into the record.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 29th, 2021, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and noticed to the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2021. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes unless further time is granted by the council president.
Thank you. We have some proclamations and presentations this evening. My honor, as always, to introduce our mayor, Steve Delina, for the first presentation, please.
Give it a second.
Warming up.
All right, try the other one.
I hate these mics.
There it goes.
I got it. So there's an on button and a power button. Okie dokie. Madam Council President, thank you so much for allowing me to come up for this part of our agenda, for our proclamations and presentations. For me, this is, there's a bitter sweetness to somebody who is retiring, of course, to think back about all the wonderful service that's been presented. Judge, don't start crying yet. Obviously, to recognize all the efforts, the time that you spent here in Monroe Township, and added to that tapestry that we all call Monroe Township. But it's also a time for well wishes for the future and all the wonderful things that await you. I have some notes here regarding the retirement of Judge Boyd for 24 years of service. Always had patience with everyone who came before him, giving their quote-unquote day in court. Respected by the attorneys for his opinion and rulings because he always understood the issues. He balanced fairness and equity with the law so that the end result always made sense to both parties. Judge Boyd would always come to court and have a story to tell us, whether it was something from his Perth Amboy court session, somewhere he went on the weekend, his vacation, Maine, and most of all, his family, of whom he spoke of all the time. We all loved listening to those stories and became part of that family. Most of all, Judge Boyd was loved by all. He is the most easygoing person, and he will truly be missed sitting on the court. And from a personal note, from a Perth Amboy person born, raised in Fords, they allowed me to go to the other side there in Fords. But the relationship that I had with Judge Boyd was through my father, and Judge Boyd's love of sports and baseball. And we talk about stories, and Judge Boyd brought it up to my father that at one time Babe Ruth had a traveling baseball team that came to play in it's called Casby. It's a little town nestled in between Fords and Perth Amboy. And the Babe Ruth All-Stars played up against a team of locals, and my grandfather was on that team. And Judge Boyd he printed out the box score from the newspaper, and I still have that to this day, Judge. So with that being said, Judge, I would love for you to come up. I have a proclamation to give you, and if you can just leave us with one or two last stories, it would be appreciated. Judge Boyd, please. There you go. Oh, good, sir. If I may read this, congratulations on your retirement, Judge George M. Boyd. With great appreciation of 24 years of dedication and commitment, thank you for going above and beyond serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe. Wishing you the best on your new adventure with much respect and gratitude. Congratulations, Mayor Stephen Delina and the Monroe Township Council on the retirement of August 1st, 2022. Thank you. Thank you. Get a picture? I would be remiss if I didn't allow you to give
thank you.
a word.
Interestingly enough, this is the first, I think, council meeting that I ever attended here, but the room seems very familiar. The seat for the council president should be very comfortable.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Well, I want to thank everybody. I don't have any stories to tell. I'll have to start telling stories about retirement, but I must compliment the finance office here. I've received 3 pension checks already, so they properly collected all the money and sent it off to the state. I want to assure that the public, as well as the council, that the court is in good hands. I've always believed and knew that we had a fantastic court staff, and we continue to have that. I want to note that Mary, our previous court administrator, is here, and obviously Donna and the rest of the staff is here, and they'll continue to do a fantastic job here. I want to compliment and make sure everybody's aware that the Monroe Township Police Department is a very professional police department, and we really enjoyed working with them. Sometimes those late night calls were not the most pleasant, but that's part of the job. So I want to thank everybody for coming out, particularly members of my family that are here, and want to thank members of the council. I'll come down and visit as much as I can. If you ever need my input, any advice, I'd be happy to provide it. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thank you again, Judge. And again, just to have our police officers here is just a testament to the service that you provided. Thank you.
Thank
Madam
you.
President, may I continue with the proclamations?
Yes, you may.
So I have the pleasure of recognizing Amanda Renda. And again, this is something very special to me as well. Amanda was the epitome of what a vaccine angel is. And we've heard that term, I think, throughout the pandemic, but more so here in Monroe Township. This was something, when I first became mayor, I was inundated with phone calls and emails, not only myself, but the entire town. Emails, phone calls from our residents of, we need help getting the vaccine. Calls, emails, inundation. But on the other hand also, we started to receive calls for people who wanted to help. They wanted to help. It was a time to stand up and help. People in need, people who wanted to help. That's Monroe Township. So what we decided to do is create the Vaccine Angels to help those in need. And in recognition of above and beyond the volunteerism, the heart and the soul that gets born to help people was never more so prominent than Amanda Renda. Amanda helped 223 people get their vaccine here in Monroe Township. By far the largest amount of residents who receive the help from an angel. And it's more than was just helping in getting, traversing through the phone system and the online and pharmacies and vaccine locations. It was also the tender love and care to listen, to talk to, and then ultimately to take that person to go get that life-saving vaccine that they needed so desperately. Amanda, as the proud mayor of Monroe Township, thank you so much. I would like to call you up for this proclamation. Again, words, 2 words, thank you. Thank you. So with that being said, Volunteer Appreciation Award, the Township of Monroe, to Amanda Renda. In your recognition of your humble service and dedication, thank you for going above and beyond serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe and those in need. Never forget the difference you have made. With heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen Delina and the Monroe Township Council. Today's date, December 5th, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's your turn. Coming to the podium now is the Council Vice President, Terry Van Zura.
Good evening, everyone. I'm already getting choked up. I haven't even gotten to my part yet, but I just want to say real briefly, I've probably known Judge Boyd longer than anybody in the town, if I could remember correctly. I've been appearing before him for probably about 40 years or so, give or take, as a practicing attorney. The one thing you could say about a judge, especially municipal court, where more people appear than any other court throughout the entire state, this is their contact with the system. And what do you look for? You want to know that you got a fair shake with the judge. Some courts have reputations as just being, no matter what the cop says, no matter what the defense attorney, if he's some kind of guy. Judge Boyd called it as he saw it. He was fair. You always got a fair shake with him. And I think that's the biggest compliment that I could give you. And I thank you for all your efforts, Judge. So I just want to mention that while I had a chance. Excuse me. Right now, I am so proud and honored to have the privilege of introducing to you Nancy Fitchelberg. Who is Nancy Fitchelberg? Well, remember a few years back we had the Hurricane Henri? We had a lot of people who had a lot of problems. They couldn't cook, they couldn't use their facilities and whatever. Nancy, similar to Amanda with the COVID, saw people in a time of need, and she decided instead of sitting around, she was going to do something about it. So what did she do? She started a soup delivery. So once a week, she would make soup. She would take her own ingredients, her own stuff, and go over and start to deliver it to the different people who needed it. Well, long story short, as time goes on, now it's been a year or two, Nancy now delivers to about 300 of our residents a week, twice a week to deliver that. That's all she does. She's cooking all the time. And she does a wonderful job. I mean, how much nicer could you get than that? She doesn't get anything for it. She don't get paid for it. She doesn't get anything in return. But she did it, and she's the kind of person that's not even really looking for any kind of recognition. But we feel that it's important for people of the town to understand and realize what kind of people we have here in Monroe. So similar to Amanda and similar to Anna and Edward, who you'll hear about later, she's what we call one of our hometown heroes. She is one of the people who is so deserving, tries very hard to help out the other citizens, and because of that, we want to present her with this plaque this evening. So Nancy, if you could come up, I'd very much appreciate it. You notice she's reluctantly striding up to the stand, and I know you're shy, but I want to read this to you. It says, "A Volunteer Appreciation Award presenting to Nancy Fitchelberg in recognition of your humble service and dedication. Thank you for going above and beyond serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe and those in need. Never forget the difference you've made. With heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen DeLina and the Monroe Township Council, December 5th, 2022. So thank you, we appreciate it. Here you go, this is yours. Thank you. All right, now I have the distinct pleasure to call on our council president, Miriam Cohen,
Thank you.
who will present our last proclamation.
We are sharing this wealth this evening of wonderful things. And I'm the shortest person in the district. Looked at it, didn't fall off the chair or anything. You know, by the way, Judge, I remember when you spoke, when you served as the judge, when the Youth Advisory Committee did the program on drunk driving, and it was such a realistic presentation because that's in fact who you are and who you were, and it was very dramatic. So I have not forgotten that. It is my pleasure to follow both our mayor and the council vice president and to give the last recognition award that we would like to give this evening. I am very proud to be doing this. And I was very proud of the two people before because I am by profession a public health nurse, and I admire and honor all of those who function in the community setting and remind us of really who we are. So this last couple clearly reminds us of who we are and where it is some of us come from. Anna and Edward contacted me via my township email regarding the work they were doing with Ukrainian refugees. They are a couple, one of whom comes from the Ukraine and one of whom comes from Russia, both of which figures large in my heritage, as having one grandparent from Russia and one from the Ukraine. So it is very interesting to see. To me, I'm going, oh, look at that. So they told us that they were working with Ukrainian refugees. They described to us the work that they were doing with these refugees, finding them homes, finding them jobs, setting up networks so that they could have medical care and health care. And they wanted to see if there were ways with which they could partner with the township so that they can expand and improve upon these services. And perhaps, since they have children and jobs of their own, take a breath or two along the way to doing all these things. So the mayor and I and Councilman Van Zora met with them. The mayor and the councilman left with pins. Yeah. That they took off their clothes and gave to them. Please notice I do not have one of those pins. Now, the pin indicates both the cooperation between the United States of America and the country of the Ukraine. And it speaks to who we are as a people. Those of us who are fortunate enough to live in this country are aware of the fact that many of us come from immigrant heritage, and that we were in this country, we were able to make a life for ourselves and for our children, and to move forward in a safe environment. That environment is not occurring in the Ukraine at this time. So we sat and brainstormed, and Eileen Bianis was in the office as well, coming up with what ways we could do things to help them. So of course we added them to the list that had been established of services for people from the Ukraine, and that's a really good thing, but they want to do much more than that. So they said something that touched all of our hearts. They said they wanted to have a Thanksgiving dinner for the people from the Ukraine, the refugees that were here, because they said it is that most American of holidays. And I thought, what is my favorite American holiday? Thanksgiving. It certainly is, and it speaks to hope and a new future. So I believe we provided, I love my editorial wheeze sometime, the support that they were able to move forward. But they continue doing all of this wonderful work. And they are so deserving of an award. And from us this evening, thank you, Alan. So, because they define volunteer, as does the woman who is a vaccine angel, and I had some of my nursing students making phone calls to make people appointments, and they learned it wasn't so easy. And of the woman making soup for everyone. That this is what we do in a world where we care for each other. So would you please come up? And I will read this award. And it says, in recognition of your humble service and dedication, thank you for going above and beyond serving the citizens of the Township of Monroe and those in need. Never forget the difference you have made. With heartfelt congratulations and a sincere thank you, Mayor Stephen DeLina and the Monroe Township Council on this date of December 5th, 2022. We look forward to expanding upon the kind of service you all do. Thank you. Is there something you wanted to say?
Sure.
Please do. Oh,
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the award. I mean, we do this not to get awards or anything like that. We do this out of the goodness of our hearts. When the war started, we were devastated. Back in 2014, when Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula, the joke of it was we were married in 2013, and in 2014, Russia annexed Crimean Peninsula, and people were like, well, she's Russian, you're Ukrainian, how do you guys live? We're like, don't worry, we're not getting a divorce. So that was the joke. And when the war started in February, we couldn't just sit still and not do anything. So we started to volunteer. The first thing that we wanted to do was ship humanitarian aid over to Ukraine, and to this day, we shipped over 50 tons of aid to Ukraine. Much needed supplies. You hold on to this. We shipped much needed supplies, first aid kits, tourniquets for the soldiers, hospital supplies. Our most recent shipment was a surgical scope, which consisted of 7 heavy boxes, like 30, 40 pounds each. It was just computers and power supplies and different scopes and monitors and all of that. That went to Kiev, to a women's hospital in Kiev. And we have over 1,100 boxes of hospital supplies, which can easily fill a 40-foot container ready to be shipped. And we're just raising funds to ship that. And several months ago, when the United States opened up different programs for Ukrainian refugees, U4U being one of them, we started helping Ukrainian refugee families. And to this day, we helped over 60 families. When they come to the States, they basically come with their backpacks, so we help them with clothing, we help them find housing, we help them with furniture, we help them with essential household supplies, food items, hygiene items, et cetera, et cetera. And to this day, as I mentioned, about 60 families. And we continue to help much more. On top of that, we're trying to build a network of doctors, attorneys who may help with any kind of aid that the refugees need. And we also help them file paperwork with the state to get different benefits that are offered to Ukrainian refugees. Did I miss something?
Okay, we'll do this, and then we're going. Do we need this?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'll be very quick. Yesterday, we actually held a film screening about Mariupol. It's the hardest hit areas in Ukraine, and a lot of people actually asked us if we'll do it again. I hope we will, with the help of the township. But we want a lot of people to see it, to see what actual devastation is happening in Ukraine, and to understand why we keep ringing the bells and saying something has to be done. So we're doing what we can, and we hope for the township's help in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you for the award.
It's our pleasure. I'm going to, yes, but before we do that, I've been nudged by several council members that they would like the opportunity to say something before we take a 5-minute break. Do I have, Councilwoman Schneider, Councilwoman DePere, please. Take your pick, folks.
It just makes you very proud
Yeah.
to think that these wonderful people are part of Monroe Township. Judge, thank you for your time. I worked way back for Department of Corrections, so I got to know a lot of lawyers and judges. And you have a great reputation. So my one phrase is, as one door closes, another opens. So whatever opening for you, you deserve. And as far as the volunteers, that's horrendous what's happening in the Ukraine and Russia. That is not humane. I thank you, too, for doing what you're doing. It's not easy, but thank you for your time. And for the great person making soup.
Betty loves
Bless
soup.
your heart. Oh, my God. That's a lot of work, so thank you, too. And for you, the angel. You are an angel when you're doing what you're doing. So I'm very proud to be on the council and to say that we have people like all of you that are here in Monroe. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you.
Councilman DePere.
Thank you. I just want to say same thing basically that Councilwoman Snyder said and our mayor. I want to thank the judge for doing an incredible job in Monroe. I did have a few times I came into your courtroom just to observe, and very, very professional, and staff, very professional, and I just want to thank you and our police service working hand in hand for many, many years. And you guys are always doing the right thing for the community and keeping us safe and making us feel as part of a team to acknowledge all the volunteers, as our mayor said, naming our angels and everybody that contributed to our community, make it a beautiful town that it is. And that makes our job a lot easier. When you have staff and you have volunteers and you have residents that step up to situations and opportunities, it's unbelievable how, as the mayor said before, he was in getting all the calls for need and help, and then he had somebody step up and had other people step up. And when he put it both together, that's what leadership does, and that's what our job is supposed to do, make sure that our community is doing the right thing. And without you people helping us, we cannot help our community. So I just want to thank each and every one of you, and Judge, and good luck with your next chapter. I know our mayor's going to want to go with you. It's his normal, that's his line. But I don't want to steal his thunder. But thank you.
Before we move to Councilwoman Siegel, I think we have no intention of letting our mayor go anywhere. Councilwoman Siegel.
Good evening, everyone. To echo all of our other council men and women, I just have to say, when I first read many of the, actually, first I want to congratulate and wish Judge Boyd a happy retirement. I'm glad to finally have met you. I've read your name, I've seen your name, and I've heard so many wonderful things. So finally, nice to meet you, and I wish you all the best. On to our exemplary volunteers. When I first read your names on our agenda, I knew all of your names because I've heard so much through the community of your dedication and the passion to do what you do day in and day out. It's truly amazing, the work that you put into this. So I do thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I have to do a special thank you to Anna and Edmund. I met them yesterday. I actually went to the library presentation on Mariupol, and my husband and I were so moved by the courage and the admiration that I have for them and all that they're doing, because not only are they doing this, they have family there still, and they're experiencing and living it through. So I really do encourage everyone, when they have the filmings and you see information out there, please try to do something, whether it's making a phone call, sharing something from their page. There's just so many ways that we can help everyone. We can help our soup person and Rossmore and everyone else that does stuff, but really do take that time because they're putting a lot of effort in, and it's courageous of you. So I thank you.
Did you want to add another comment, Councilman Vanzura? Of course.
Well, first of all, again, thanks, Judge Boyd. I really wish you the best in retirement, and you did Monroe proud. You know, people come to this court, like I said before, they know that you're going to get a fair chance, and that's exactly what the judiciary stands for, and you did it well. So thank you. With respect to these volunteers that we're recognizing, to me, I've been on the council for almost 2 years. This is probably one of the most heartwarming meetings that I can recall. We've had some great moments too. We've had people retiring, like the judge and our police. We've had things. We've had honored students. We've had all sorts of stuff. All these people have one thing in common. They all did this. All the things that they're doing, whether helping the Ukrainians, helping with the vaccines, helping with the feeding people and the soups. They all did it out of the goodness of their heart. Not getting paid for it, not looking for any recognition, but they did it because it was the right thing to do. And they wanted to be involved, and they wanted to make a difference. Sometimes I just feel humbled. Like, we should all be so good as these people are. They really deserve our recognition. So thank you so much. And I'm so proud to say that you're Monroe citizens that are doing this. You are part of us. And just like so many other people that have come here, you're what makes Monroe what Monroe is. So thank you. It's holiday season. We just had Thanksgiving. Now you realize we have a lot to be thankful for. So thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you. We are going to take that 5-minute recess. Folks can take some pictures, and then the council will reconvene. Thank you all, and thank you for being here this evening.
Reconvene at 7:15.
What the time was?
7:15 to reconvene.
7:15 is the reconvening time for the agenda session.
Where'd everybody go?
We are moving to the ordinances for second reading. Clerk, please.
Ordinance O. 2022-023, ordinance authorizing the acceptance from 94 Union Valley Road, LLC, of a conservation easement concerning property located at Lot 7, Block 18, and a road widening deed concerning portions of property at lots 7.01 and 7.02 in Block 18. O. 2022-024, ordinance authorizing the lease of property at Block 41, Lot 14.02 in the township to facilitate the provision of affordable rental housing and the execution of an option to lease. Excuse
Well,
me.
you're reading it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item is the resolutions for consideration under our consent agenda at this meeting, R12 2022-280 through R12 2022-333. I would assume, and I'm assuming, that the council is pleased reviewing these resolutions. There are many of them this month. Any resolutions that anyone would like removed from the consent agenda? Well,
First.
that's a first.
You're good?
He's good. He's good.
All right.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I'd like to move to item 8, the public comment section. Please remember, it is limited to the agenda items only, 5 minutes per speaker. May I have a motion to open the public comment section, please?
Make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we invite the public to come to the microphone. Your name and address for our records, please.
Absolutely. Good evening, Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I just have a couple questions on the resolutions. I'll speak to the ordinances when they are open. The Department of Defense, R122022-293, equipment from the Department of Defense. We're going to be purchasing some of that. What kind of equipment is there, please?
Mr. Warrenberg, you wish to address that, please?
Thank you, Council President. This is just an authorization to allow us to participate in the program for the upcoming year. I believe should we move forward with something, and this is the police department, they are eligible to get free surplus equipment, but I don't think this requires us to actually get any, just to be able to be in the program.
Okay, so you're on the list to accept things if they become available.
And if we would need them.
Okay. Yeah, some of the things from the Department of Defense, I hope we don't take, like big tanks or
Only
Really
if they can remove snow.
tough like that. Excuse me?
Snow removal.
Oh, snow removal works for me, yeah, that, not a problem. But some of the, like, really militaristic things, I would hope that we don't bring into Monroe. Okay, that's that one. And Mr. Weinberg is, where it is, okay, the Public Agency Compliance Officer. Is that a new position, or is this just a yearly?
Mr. Weinberg, please.
Right, so every town has to have a public agency compliance officer. I believe I've been the public agency compliance officer for 3 years. There's no additional compensation for it.
Okay, that really wasn't the intent of my
Okay,
question. My question was just that you've been doing it for a while, and we have. And it's compliance with all state and local ordinances?
Particularly the, Council President, particularly the Treasury prevailing wage acts and DBE disadvantaged business enterprise components of public contracts.
Okay. And, let's see, I think that's probably all sort of boilerplate things. That's going to be on the ordinance. So the resolution, award of the bid for bathrooms in Veterans Park, ADA restrooms, and that is coming from $950,998. What fund is that coming from?
Mr. Warrenberg, you want to start?
Yep, Council President, that is bonded money through the township, but there's also a $167,000 county grant as part of that. So the remainder would be from township bonds.
Okay, I'm sorry, 160 county
What?
grant?
167,000.
167 is,
And
right,
we don't have to repay that, that's just a full grant?
correct.
And we just pay the difference to, okay. And I think that's all for now. I'll see you again.
You'll
when
see
you
us again.
Start the ordinances. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to address us at this point? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the public comment section.
Make a motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, we close the public comment section. I would like a motion to adjourn the agenda meeting, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you so much. A roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, the time of the adjournment is?
7:21.
Thank you. All right, every clock in this room has the same time. I just thought I'd mention that. I'd like to call the regular meeting to order. May I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the payment of claims per the run date of November 30th, 2022?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Abstain. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented? The November 2nd, 2022 agenda and regular combined meeting. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Passes. We'll move to ordinances for the second reading. Would the clerk please read that ordinance?
Ordinance O-11, 2022-023, ordinance authorizing the acceptance from 94 Union Valley Road, LLC, of a conservation easement concerning property at Lot 7, Block 18, and a road widening deed concerning portions of properties at Lot 7.01 and 7.02 on Block 18.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Good. Second on that, please.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Those wishing to address us, please return to the microphone.
I don't mean to appear presumptuous by walking up to the mic, but I thought we're saving some
Well, we kind of knew
time.
we'd just save some time.
That's all I'm doing.
That's
And
all
if
you're
anyone
doing.
else would like to speak before me, I'm happy to.
No, we're good the way we are.
Okay. So on the conservation easement, is that can that be explained a little bit? I'm sorry, I wasn't able to read the full ordinance. Is that a basin, a water basin or anything? And what is the acreage on that?
Mark?
Ca-
Mr.
Council President, the conservation easement is essentially wetlands and wetland buffers, and it's approximately 33 acres. And there is no stormwater basin on that property.
There's no stormwater. So, and that wetland, so the majority of that 33 acres is wetlands
Wetlands and wetland buffers.
and wetland buffers? Okay.
Yes, all of it essentially is wetlands and wetland buffers.
Okay, and is this a commercial entity, this 94 Union Valley Road LLC?
Well, it's an LLC. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but is it a I think down there, is that the gun, the firing range or something?
Now, Council
Or is
President.
this a resident?
Yes,
It-
please,
it-
Mark.
Essentially, the LLC did a minor subdivision and created two single-family home lots.
Okay.
It's across from the ponds, Waterside Villas,
Oh,
in that area.
right.
Oh, it's on, okay.
Yeah, Union Valley
Oh, Union
Road,
Valley,
not
I'm
Union
sorry,
Hill.
I'm thinking.
You were thinking of the other valley.
Correct.
I apologize. I'm
And this
thinking-
property is 40-some, nearly 50 acres in size, and 33 acres is wetlands and wetland buffer.
Oh, I think I know where that's the small, there's 4 houses on that street, I think.
Near the
Okay.
whole cemetery.
As long as.
Right before that area that you're
Okay.
thinking.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to have a question or comment on this ordinance? Then I would like a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion.
Thank you. I need a second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. May I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. We now move to the resolutions for consideration. No, we
Excuse
don't.
me.
I missed something?
Yep,
I'm
yep.
so sorry.
Next ordinance.
I am so sorry. The
okay.
second ordinance.
That's
I'm
okay.
tired. My
Ordinance
apologies.
Ordinance O-11,
Thank
2022-024, no problem. Ordinance authorizing the lease of property at Block 41, Lot 14.02 in the township to facilitate the provision of affordable rental housing and the execution of an option to lease.
Okay, may we have a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance? You really don't want us to be bored, Michelle?
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. On this one, does the township own this property, and who's going to be leasing to whom?
So the township owns this property. We're going to be leasing it to the developer,
Okay.
Conifer, who is going to build the veterans' affordable housing.
So we're leasing it to them. Is there like a 99-year lease? What is the?
I don't think it's quite 99 years, but it's pretty close to it.
Okay. And does the township get funds for this, or because it's under the affordable housing? Like, we're leasing it, is there any
No,
monies?
so our, we donated the property plus money from our Affordable Housing Trust Fund to make it, it's 100% township-sponsored.
Right.
And then they went out and they went out and used the property and our money, and then they went out and got funding for it to do the construction.
And it's going to be all leased property, or?
Yeah, it'll be all rental, it'll be all rentals.
Rental.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the money is going to go, because they're also going to manage the facility?
Correct, and maintain it, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll run, the township's not going to run it, but they'll build it and run it, correct.
Okay, and they'll be, and I think, because I was at, I think it was either a zoning or planning that I.
Probably the
attended.
planning, they did a presentation there.
Right, and they said that they would, and they're also going to be responsible for the leasing of it, right?
Correct, they handle it all, correct.
And when does that start?
So as soon as this is kind of one of the last pieces for them to get their funding in place, and the state has also done, they put $350 million in the state budget to help fund some of these projects also. And we're hopeful for, I don't know, Alan, break ground in the spring maybe.
Okay. And, okay. So the leasing is really just,
It's just a mechanism to get the property, they have to, in order for them to get their funding, they have to have control of the property.
okay.
So they have
That's
to,
how
when
we're
they
doing
go, that's right, so when they go to file their applications, they have to be able to say, we have control over the property.
it. And what happens if it falls below I think we had 38 or 37, I don't remember.
So it's approved, the project currently, as it is approved, is for 80 units. So it is basically, the contracts now all have 80 units in it, so we're going
Yes,
to
but
build that.
but there's a minimum that they have to provide, and then they can go into regular. I think there's like 38 or.
No, so there's, no, there's 80 units, there's a veteran preference in our ordinance, and 37 of the units are
37.
supposed to be, but if for some reason they couldn't find veterans, they can drop down below that, but that's, the answer is it's 80 units of affordable housing. It never becomes not affordable housing.
Okay.
So-
But the preference is first and foremost for the veterans.
Veterans,
And I hope
correct.
we
Yes,
get
ma'am.
80%, I mean, I hope we get
Correct.
80 veterans.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
You're
I
most
think
welcome.
it's
Thank
time
you.
we do this for our veterans.
Yes,
we
I
do.
agree. Thank you.
We agree. May I have, therefore, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have none. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 011-2022-024, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you again. A roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Motion passes.
Correct.
We'll move to the resolutions for considerations under our consent agenda, R12, 2022-280 through R12, 2022-333. May we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
May we have a second on that motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel,
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura,
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. And an amazing thing, we don't have anything on item 6, so let's go right to item 7. The administrator's report, the discussion of the best practices inventory, please.
Thank you very much, Council President.
You're welcome.
A couple items I do want to touch on. First, I do want to highlight the $117,000 grant to install 2 energy-efficient boilers at the senior center. This is probably the 5th location within the town that we've been able to partner with the BPU to upgrade our energy efficiency, which, as we know, is a key component of the master plan. So very excited about this. The upcoming awards on this that we're looking to do are for the rec center, which is going to be some significant HVAC energy upgrades, as well as lighting. And we're also working with the MTUD offices on Union Valley Road to do some significant upgrades there as well. With electric rates rising, this is obviously very important. The second thing I wanted to highlight is a $10,000 emergency management grant from the state. I believe this is our second year getting it. It allows us to purchase new equipment and enhance preparedness, so just want to thank the police department for working on that. We also renewed our contract in this agenda with Green Chip. This allows our residents to drop off electronic recycling, actually increases money to the township by about $6,000. And as you know, our location is open from 7 in the morning till approximately 2:30 on weekdays, and also open on Saturday morning as well, the recycling yard. I also want to highlight another item in here that's positive. As was mentioned earlier, there was a grant for the Veterans Park Avenue K ADA bathrooms, but there was also another grant for the upcoming year from the county for James Monroe Park bathrooms and concessions, which is also very exciting for us. And then finally, I do want to thank the employees and the union leaders for a good dialogue over the past many months as we came to an agreement on contracts. We do have an extraordinary workforce, and our agreement includes some important health care changes that will help us in the coming years. As many people may be aware, the health care rates for state and local employees who are participating through the state health benefits program went up close to 23%. This is going to be an extraordinary impact for many municipalities. Thanks to our negotiations with the unions and having our own separate health care, our plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield will go down 0.7% and puts us on a better path for the next 4 years. Dental is also down approximately 6%. I want to thank the employees, the mayor, the council, and the residents for their support in this effort and continuing to move forward. Do certainly want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, happy Hanukkah, Christmas, and a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Razumowitz, second on the list.
Thank you, Council President. Last month, the council awarded an emergency contract for pavement repairs on Machaponack, Spotswood, Gravel Hill, and Pergola intersection. Those repairs were completed, and thank you for that. Second, you'll see around town today they started doing guide rail repairs, so that'll be happening throughout town for the next several days. And we look forward to wrapping that up the end of the week. Tonight, the council awarded the Veterans Park ADA restroom project. That project not only provides ADA bathrooms, but there's also a changing area for the spray park, as well as an office for the spray park employees, and a maintenance and operation facilities for park equipment. Lastly, the railroad crossing at Gravel Hill Spotswood Road in the area of the softball field and DPW. That is NJDOT funded. That project is going to start on Monday, December 12th. The roadway there will be closed. It'll be a hard closure, 24 hours around the clock for 5 days. Again, starting on December 12th, and the anticipated completion will be Friday, December 16th. There'll be proper signage up for road closure and detours. And that is my report.
Thank you. Move to council reports. I'm going to begin in my extreme right. Councilman DePiero, please.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank Center State for taking care of that repair on Machaponack and Spotswood Gravel Hill. It was something that was definitely needed, and I want to thank our administration and Lou for taking care of the funding and getting that done, because it was something that was we got close because the weather's going to change. We do know how the county came out recently and paved, and we're looking for them to come back and do some repairs on Spotswood Englishtown Road with some drainage. Hopefully they'll give us a date, probably in the spring. I don't think they're going to be doing anything in the near future, but it's crucial that you do paving when weather allows you to. So I just wanted to thank you guys for putting that together, and everybody that was part of that. I want to thank the DPW for putting up the snowflakes on Spotswood Englishtown Road for the holiday season. It's really nice to come into a part of the town and see the snowflakes on the poles and the entrance into our town. And I know that they work hard on getting that up there with JCP&L's help and DPW with their lift and everything. I just want to say thank you to the guys that did that work. And it really makes us look good for the holiday season. I want to wish the winners on the last election. I want to wish them good luck on their next 3 or 4 years terms. But I also want to wish the ones that weren't successful, the candidates that stepped up and tried. As we all know, how hard that is during the election time, and to the way the world is, to step up in your community and to make a difference. And we just want to acknowledge everybody and our clerk's office, as I always do, for the election. It was flawless, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that did that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and also the candidates, and wish them well. Old Bridge, Englishtown, I asked about Mounts Mill and the intersection. I know that we keep hearing that we're doing the land acquisition. Is there any updates since last meeting on that intersection?
Mr. Warnberg?
Yep, Council President, Councilman, yes, the land has been fully acquired, and the county has been informed that the land has been acquired. So the county can move forward and hopefully soon to go out to bid.
Great, that would be good, because I know our residents in Regency, they send emails constantly or calls on what's going on. So that's great news. Thank you. On December 7th, at their senior center between 6 and 8 o'clock, there's going to be a truck traffic discussion with the county. I encourage our residents, if they can attend. It's between 6 and 8 o'clock at the senior center. The county wants to hear from, the truck traffic. These are the things that help us put weight limits on some roads and keep some heavy trucks off of roads that have bridges, or they have areas that trucks shouldn't be kind of commingling with residents or going past the adult communities day and night. So it's something that I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention. It's December 7th between 6 and 8 at the senior center. We have a new business that opened up in Suburban Plaza. It's dough fillers, and I know he's going to reach out to the mayor to do a ribbon cutting. And they're a hardworking family. They have excellent food and good service to our community. I just wanted to shout out and wish our fellow businesses to shop local, and also to encourage to check the place out. He's right next to the new coffee shop, right next door. So I just wanted to shout out to dough fillers and wish them well. And being part of tonight's, as Councilman Vandora said, it's a warm meeting when we have volunteers, and we had what we did tonight. And there's also a family that a lot of people know made a donation to Make-A-Wish Foundation, and past employee, business administrator Gal Feist, who a lot of us remember, could still vision her sitting in the mayor's chair many times, and also her husband, Ernie Feist Sr. Well, the Feist family made a donation to the Make-A-Wish for the lighting system that they installed it, and they paid for it in dedication to their parents. So I just wanted to say thank you to the Feist family for that. And also, we're proud to have the Make-A-Wish in our town, but that's something that people don't really talk about. When our community does something like that, I just wanted to give a shout out. I did speak to Ernie today to make sure that he was okay with it, and he said fine. So that's the reason why I just wanted to make everybody aware. When you go past there, it's really a beautiful building, and I know once they get that sewer line, they're going to want to expand that second floor. So, but I just wanted to shout out to the Feist family and recognize Gail and Ernie Sr. on that. I'm still a little confused why we don't have a police blotter. I know I keep asking. I see a lot of stuff on social media. There are a lot of questions why we're not sending out nixles and why we're not informing our public on a lot of different incidents or things that happen in our community. I know it's hard to keep everybody on one system and on one page, but a police blotter is something that, it's something that's needed. Other towns do it, And I just wanted to shout that out, and I think that's something that we should consider and look into. I know I spoke to the chief, and he's not a fan of it. He was talking about manpower, but it's something that we should be able to do and let our residents know. We don't have to give all details, but we do need to acknowledge when something's going on. Like we just had something happen in the school system that I found out through social media. And I don't have any children in the school, but my daughter is a teacher. And, you know, it's something that we all need to be on the same page if there is something that's going on in our town. We all want to believe that there's no crime and we're the best community, and we want to keep it that way. But in reality, when something does happen, you want to let the people know a rumor from reality on what's going on, and that's why I just felt the police blotter would be a bit of information that can help our residents. We all received an email today on a park and ride, the bus schedule. I spoke to the resident about an hour before the meeting, and she was complaining about after 7:20, there's no buses. And I know we had a committee. Alan, you were part of it. I was on that committee as well. And then with COVID, we kind of lost touch, and then we lost the bus company, services, because a lot of people are not commuting. So I know our mayor will address it, and I just told the resident that we were having a council meeting. If she wanted to come, or whatever she wanted to follow through, that we would discuss it and see if we can do something. We can't make the bus company provide a schedule more than what they're doing now, but it's something that maybe we can put a shuttle together to go to South Brunswick. If there's something that we could do locally, I'm sure our mayor and administration will come up with an idea through the email that we just received today. I attended a Veterans Appreciation Luncheon at the Senior Center. I wanted to thank everybody that put that together. It was really something nice, and the entertainment was spectacular, and it was really put together well. And I just wanted to shout out to our veterans again, and I'm glad to see that's on the agenda tonight. As our one resident came up and said, it's a good thing, and hopefully we can fill all 80 units with our veterans. And I just wanted to wish everyone a happy, safe holiday and a happy new year to you and your families, and be well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Schneider, please.
I would just, excuse me, like to thank the Regency Culture Club. They're always very generous during the holidays, like for Thanksgiving and Christmas, on donating over 200 turkeys for the residents. And they also, it seems like every resident in Regency contributes $10 to do this. So I personally am very great on hunger, which I think in this country shouldn't happen, but it does. So thank you, Regency. There's going to be from New Jersey income tax that will update. It's Wednesday, December 14th. It's at 10:30. It'll be at the Senior Center. There'll be a representative from the New Jersey Division of Taxation. They'll give you a brief overview of the state tax relief programs, and I think it'll be very informative. The only thing is you really need to register, and it starts at 10:30. This Saturday, December 10th, I know I'm looking forward to it. It's what they call the Winterfest at the library. It's going to be ice sculpture by the artist John Sirsick.
Yes.
The last time they tried this, the weather didn't permit it. It rained or did something. So I'm going to cross my fingers that this Saturday in the library parking lot, they'll be able to do the ice sculptures, because I think that really, really would be something. I know today ended the PVA's toy drive. So I'm hoping everybody contributed toys, because it does benefit the Children's Hospital. I would just like to give a few stats as far as what they do at the Senior Center. Some of the social services we do is counseling for bereavement. caregivers' concerns, support groups, outside visits, nutrition, home aid, care, adult daycare, assisted living, housing, PAD, and miscellaneous other assistance. And the transportation is phenomenal. For medical, 434, Princeton, 102, Freehold, 175, in-town, 36, and senior center shuttle, 134. I think, I just had a resident move into Rossmore not even 2 weeks ago, and the first thing they asked me, how to get in touch with the senior center for certain things. So our reputation is out there. And the total since July for senior center new members is 1,713. So there's a lot of new residents moving in because of the services we have. And yet we're able to keep our taxes the same. So I think that shows that the mayor and council really, really do listen to the residents. That's my report, Council President.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Siegel.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just want to share some events that we've had over the last couple weeks. There's some really nice events. The Veterans Appreciation event that Councilman DePiero just mentioned, it really was a beautiful event, and it was so nice to meet so many of our veterans and hear their stories. So we are forever grateful for your service. The Senior Center also had the Thanksgiving event, another wonderful event, and speaking to so many residents, especially the residents that don't have family members nearby, they really look forward to this, and it was so nice to see the turnout. So thank you to everyone involved in working on these events and bringing them to our community. And we had the fun holiday parade last week, which was a lot of fun. I think if we turned the rain to snow flurries, it would have felt like a Hallmark movie. So it was a lot of fun. A little cold.
That was good, Rupa.
And Cultural Arts Commission, just an update from them. If you missed the annual juried art show, the commission has it available virtually now.
Right.
So the virtual exhibit features a special selection of art from the artist that can only be seen through this virtual show. So you can visit it as often as you'd like, and you can also provide feedback and share comments through there. So, and it's going on for a while, so don't. And then I want to share some news from the Environmental Commission, some really great news for them. Monroe has once again received the silver certification from Sustainable New Jersey. The Environmental Commission, Green Team, and many others have been working on this certification for months, and Monroe is one of 5 towns in Middlesex County to obtain the silver certification, and of a small group in the state of New Jersey. And just to share a little bit around the achievement, certified towns excel in areas such as improving energy efficiency, health and wellness, reducing waste, sustaining local economies, protecting natural resources, and advancing the arts. So if you're interested in learning more about what's involved in the certification, please check out the Sustainable New Jersey website. And once again, congratulations to all involved. It's really a great achievement that our town has received. And I just wanted to say one more, or actually 2 more things. As the year is coming to an end, I really want to thank the township administration and all the other areas in the township who have welcomed me and have really helped me acclimate to my new role as a councilwoman. I am truly grateful for everyone's support, and I am so happy to be part of this family. And I'd like to end with wishing everyone a happy holiday season and a happy, healthy, and wealthy new year. Thank you.
Councilman Van Zora. Pay attention, are you? Yes?
Thank you, Madam
You're
President.
welcome.
Richard Fierro. Richard was a retired U.S. Army veteran, served in various wars, happened to be at Club Q with his wife and daughter, and daughter's boyfriend, watching a show when he heard shots ring out. Richard ran across the room, tackled the man who was shooting, who was well over 6 foot tall, 300 pounds, and he was able to get the guns away from the guy and along with the help of some others, hold him until the police could come. Instead of going away from the problem, he attacked the problem. And with no doubt, he saved several lives that evening. Unfortunately, we did lose a lot, but he did save a lot also. I mention that because this, again, is a person who is a true hero. And what I now find is whenever there's a tragedy, whenever there's something bad that happens, you find some heroes among that. Here it was a shooting where somebody did something. We heard about all the people in our town. When we had a pandemic, our vaccine angel came through. When we had problems with flooding and people couldn't eat, our soup lady came through. The problems with the Ukraine and Edward and Anna, you heard the efforts that they're making. So when there's bad things, sometimes it leads to good things, and that's a nice thing. Interestingly, I was watching, I think it was Channel 2 News one morning. Like the Saturday, they have different little segments on things that are going on. And they had a family with a young boy and a young girl who were talking about how the family had adopted 2 young boys from Africa who were originally homeless. They went from homeless to being in a shelter, and then they ultimately came over here to the United States. And the reason I mention it was just very interesting because little things that we take for granted, they had no clue. Like they lived in a gated community, so they pushed the button to open the gate when they're driving in. The kids just like, it was magic. Driving through a car wash was magic. And the only reason I mention that is because you realize that as much as we take things for granted, sometimes people have a different perspective, and they appreciate all of the little things that happen. So here we are, Thanksgiving. It's around that time. You hear all the good things that have happened around our town. We do have a lot to be thankful for. Nothing's perfect. We strive to be the best that we can, but there are a lot of things to truly be thankful for, and as we enter the season, I think that's something that we should try to keep in mind. The veterans is a perfect example. A lot of times if you see a veteran, just go up to him and say thank you for your service. It costs you absolutely nothing out of your pocket to do that. And guess what? Sometimes you make somebody's day. So it is a very nice thing. The only other thing I want to mention, I would be remiss, especially with Edward and Anna here tonight. This is, if I'm correct, day 285 of the wrongful invasion of Ukraine by the Russians. The Russians now seem to realize that they're not going to win a military war with the Ukrainians. Those people just have a tremendous will, and they're not about to give in. Unfortunately, this has now resulted in the Russians attacking all of the civilian buildings, apartments, houses, churches, hospitals, schools, and now the utilities. So as we come to the coldest part of the winter, and winter is approaching, so many of the Ukrainian people find themselves in freezing cold without any heat, hot water, electricity, and yet they continue to fight for their homeland. So while we have all of our little things around here that we may complain about, and certainly the little annoyances of life, it's amazing to see how people that are really up against something that's very difficult continue to have the resolution to move forward. So again, another lesson for us to learn. Just be the best that you can in all ways that you can. It's a great time of year now. Thanksgiving, the holidays coming. Nice to have that we were able to appreciate some of our fellow citizens, and I just want to wish everybody the best and say thank you for all that you do.
And tonight, before I ask our mayor to address us, I have a couple of comments I'd like to make. Number one, on a personal note, Councilwoman Daria Ludis, who is a friend and mentor to many of us on this council, she was the councilwoman in Jamesburg, passed away last week. She was a good and kind woman and provided wonderful service to her town and to the community at large, and was a strong advocate for the role of women in politics and in life. She was also an author, penning mystery novels under the rubric, I believe it was Sisters in Crime. So she will be sorely missed, and our condolences, my personal condolences to her family. Second, I wanted to comment that the police officers, both the sergeant and the detective, a detective from our department addressed a crowded room of easily 100 residents at Greenbrier at Whittingham, which is the community where I reside. And they did a safety presentation and how we can be safe in our homes and safe in our community. The community received the presentation well, had very many very excellent questions, which the police answered with their usual candor. In addition, the police have given this presentation in many other venues throughout our town and is certainly available to do that. So I would like to thank them publicly for the service that they provide on a daily basis, and certainly for doing that very excellent program. And not only did they include safety, they repeated the scam protection program. And I thought that that was very valuable for everyone who was there, and certainly answered needs for people concerned about crime and staying safe and the reality of life within our safe community, but certainly not free from incidents occurring. So I did want to make mention of that. Would like to extend my personal wishes to everyone for a happy and healthy holiday season. May we all enjoy and be well. And I like seeing all the lights up because the streets get so bright, and that makes me very happy. With that in mind, I want to thank my colleagues on the council for a wonderful year working with you. I think we do pretty well together. And for all of our administrative staff, for that I am also very, very grateful. I would like to turn this over to our mayor. Mr. Mayor, please, you will honor us with your words.
Thank you, Madam Council President. Please bear with me. 'Tis the season to be brain tired. It's the end of the
Yes.
semester.
My
I
head's
started
swimming. Yes.
grading course projects today, so I'm a little tired.
Well.
So I'm going to rely on my notes. Working backwards since our last meeting, November 5th was a big day in Monroe Township. Not only was it Councilman DePiero's birthday celebration, we had a very nice event at the community garden, and I do want to thank the Shade Tree Commission, the community Friends of the Community Garden, as well as the local Boy Scouts for coming together for a tree planting and a trellis dedication, and again, just kind of enjoying, all that the community gardening and its environs brings to the community. It's been mentioned about Veterans Day. For me, it was a week-long recognition, celebration, acknowledgement of our veterans of the town. Very proud to attend a number of the events that we had here in the town, as well as some of the local communities, Encore in particular. And again, I always, when I talk about the Veterans Day events, Memorial Day, 9/11, those to me are the most important things that we can, as elected officials, to be there to support, acknowledge, and educate. I think that's so very important. Last month, I was a guest lecturer at the Township High School for Miss Marshall's Introduction to U.S. Law classes. I attended 2 of the classes, and I hope the students got some stuff out of it. I certainly did. They're just so, I use the word pure, because they're questions. There's no agenda or motivation to the questions. It's pure knowledge that they want, and that is just when you get that question and you can connect to them and help in some capacity. High school was a long time ago for me. I recall my social studies class, there was some discussion about local government, but I would have loved to have had somebody come in just to kind of, pepper them with some questions. So I appreciate the invite from Ms. Marshall, and I hope to continue that next year as well. Also last month, I recorded an important video, I guess, in one of those Mayor Delina show things. It had to do with public safety. It was myself, our business administrator, our chief, as well as Lieutenant Banos, just to talk about the uptick of auto thefts nationwide and discussion of some of the things that the police are doing to combat that, I ask you to please just take a look at the video. There are some very striking statistics that are provided, as well as means to help combat. And I always talk about it as a team effort. There was one item in particular about Ring doorbells, and that's some things that that's something that people just don't think about. The registering of your Ring doorbell, or if you have a camera on your property with the police, it's a very helpful tool in combating that. So please check out the video. It's available on our website as well as the YouTube channel. I did brave the weather the other night in a convertible for our annual holiday parade. I do want to thank all the participants in the parade, in particular Fire District 1, as well as of our police and our rec department in helping, again, pull off. The weather was horrible throughout the day, but I said no rain on our parade. And again, it was just nice to go throughout the town and just wish happy holidays, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. And obviously, very much looking forward to the menorah lighting in the upcoming days. Always an exciting time to celebrate with the residents of Monroe. I am pleased that we did move forward with our labor agreements with the USWU, Blue and White Unions, as well as the PBA and SOA. And it is a negotiation by team effort, and I do want to thank the administration as well as our legal team and the representatives from the various unions. It is a negotiation. It is a arduous process with a lot of back and forth. It just doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of work that goes involved. There is very heavy negotiation, tiring negotiation. But I think it's a fair agreement for both the administration as well as the employees. And there's going to be, as noted by our business administrator, some significant healthcare savings that will help us this year as well as the years to come. So thank you for all of those who were involved. Bathrooms. Bathrooms, we've been talking about bathrooms as well. I guess it was FDR, chicken in every pot. My mantra here in Monroe, and I will be proud to tout it, is a bathroom in every park, baby. So, again, something that's very important, very needed, not really thought about unless it's used. When you don't have a facility, there can be issues. And I was just very happy to see the approval tonight, as well as thankful that the county did assist some money, the grant. And again, moving forward with updating the much-needed James Monroe Park bathrooms as well and concession stand. It's something that, again, means a lot to me. Do want to just piggyback what Councilwoman Siegel had mentioned about the silver certification for Sustainable New Jersey. This is the high achievement, and I do want to thank the Environmental Commission, the Green Team, and the residents, as well as all the department heads who helped us achieve that. Of note, only 13% of the towns in the state of New Jersey have achieved that, so that's quite significant. Probably the last time I might say this, but a reminder that the Anchor tax relief application deadline has been extended to January 31st. If you need assistance, please call the contact the tax collector office or the library. They can help you out with that as well. Councilman DePiero mentioned about the traffic public meeting at the Senior Center on Wednesday, December 7th, between 6 and 8. It is so important for you to participate in this. This is one of the most important decisions that the citizens of Monroe can influence at this particular moment. It's an issue that does affect all of us. And this is a pure, we talk about pure with the students, this is a pure opportunity for you, the residents of this town, to influence what happens. If you cannot attend, please, I beg you, please, go to our website. There is a survey. Your voice will be heard, and I will make sure that your voice gets heard. So if you can't make the event on December 7th, please, please fill out the survey on our website. Good luck to our Monroe Wolverine cheerleaders who are in Florida as we speak. Always a fun and fantastic time for the youth of Monroe Township. And speaking of sports, I have scarlet fever. And those who are Rutgers fans, all I'm going to say is, who's your daddy? And I am on the faculty of Indiana University as well, just mind you, but very exciting.
But we don't talk about it.
And as I segue to the end of my report, and speaking of Rutgers, and speaking of the season, and I think Councilman Van Zura had mentioned about those who are, I use the word less fortunate, or just live in a different means than what we have here in Monroe. And yes, you know, little things bother Monroe residents, and they love to be heard about it. But it's also a time, especially with Thanksgiving and the holiday season that we are all living right now, just to think about those who may not have that ability to complain, to enjoy a parade. I've had a meeting, a Zoom meeting. I'm going to have another one on Wednesday with a woman from the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. And I was curious. I wanted to look up the University of Ibadan in Nigeria just to see what the campus looked like. And I was shocked. Using Google Earth, the dorms, busted out windows. There's a broken down, and we talk about Rutgers buses, there was a broken down bus right in the middle of the quad, just probably sitting there for years. And then I was like, wow, that is something. And then I kind of spread out a little bit, looked at some of the other communities, neighborhoods in that town, and I was shocked. And then there was one in particular, this town, I went a little further. No running water, dirt roads, you know, stuff strewn about, squalor. Sobering. So just take that moment. Sorry to make it such a sobering, somber moment, but something to think about, please. And with that being said, to those citizens of Monroe Township, to my friends here on the council, the administration, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and all we can ask for is a healthy and prosperous New Year to all. Thank you kindly.
Please, God. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We will now move to our public comment section. May I have a motion to open the public comment section, please? Who's paying
Motion.
attention? Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward. Thank you. Your name and address for our records, please. My grandson, you know, is now a freshman at Rutgers Business. I'm very impressed.
Good evening. Chrissy Skirby, 21 Preakness Drive.
Yes.
Yes, Rutgers proud, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things I just wanted to bring forward to the council. Yes, I think it's fantastic what we do at the senior center with our food drives. But one thing I noticed this year, we used to have a woman that worked at the senior center. I believe her name was Bonnie, and she's since retired.
Yes, she moved to the warm Florida sun.
Yes, and what Bonnie used to do, and I know a lot of residents used to help out, and she used to bring the school children in as well as volunteers. A lot of our National Honor Society students looking for volunteer hours. On Thanksgiving morning, she would have meals prepared for residents who were less fortunate and did not have family to celebrate the holiday with. And we had residents come out, and we had students come out, and they served the meals earlier in the day, and then they went home and had Thanksgiving with their families. But that was something I realized this year that we're no longer doing, and I'm not sure if that was partly because of COVID, and if maybe we'll bring that back or think about bringing that back, because I know the Senior Center did have a Thanksgiving luncheon.
They did.
For residents. They paid, I think it was a nominal fee, $10 to come, and they had a beautiful lunch. But this is something on Thanksgiving morning that I think would be nice to maybe look at back doing, because we used to do it, and maybe we could look at doing that back, because, like I said, there are so many residents that don't have families to share Thanksgiving with. The toy drive, I think, is phenomenal. I want to thank the township and the police department for doing that. I know a lot of the clubs at our high school collected as well. They had a big donation bin in the front of the high school, and a lot of the students donated toys for that too. And just having personal experience, about 5 years ago, my youngest was in the ICU for 10 days during this time, and when Santa came by with toys, it made all the difference. And it really is a wonderful thing to bring to the hospitals during this time, because it's a terrible time for children to be in the hospital, and to just have somebody come through, Santa Claus come in and see a smile on a child who's suffering during this time is really important. So I want to thank our police department and the township for partaking in that with the Bristol-Myers Children's Hospital in New Brunswick. Just one thing, Mr. DePiero, you had mentioned an incident at the schools. It wasn't an incident at the schools per se. It was a reaction that the schools took. So there was an attempted carjacking. We've been seeing all over social media about it in Jamesburg. And the Monroe Police Department did alert the school district. And our middle school and our high school did go on shelter in place. But the issue, and I would like to speak on behalf of the Board of Education for this one thing. The township is not informing the residents through the Nixle of things that are taking place. The same carjackers went into, or allegedly went into, Englishtown and did carjack a woman in the Walgreens parking lot. And, I'm sorry?
And were arrested.
I'm sorry?
They were arrested.
Yes, they were arrested. But Englishtown let their residents know continuously throughout the day, updates on their Facebook page. And Monroe parents were posting all over social media, wondering what was going on, why the schools were on a shelter in place. And unfortunately, the school district is not allowed to share police information. We get the information, the district gets the information, they act on it, they did appropriately what they should do, but they were not allowed to inform the parents what was going on, because it was a police investigation. It was up for the police department and the township to share that information, not the district. So by not being transparent with our residents, using the Nixle system and letting the residents know, it's actually having a hindrance. Like Mr. DePiero had mentioned, there was an incident in the schools and people didn't know what was going on. It wasn't in our schools, it was outside the schools. But our schools did react, and they took the appropriate safety precautions. But I just, as a resident now, I'd like to ask if we could look into utilizing the Nixle service to alert residents to this going on. Because yes, I did watch the video that you made, Mr. Mayor, and I thank you for that. But I think knowing what's happening when it's happening, my neighbor had her car stolen a few years ago in the middle of the night right off her driveway. There was no Nixle about that. We weren't informed. My friend across town had a home invasion in the early hours of the morning. There was no Nixle on that. Nobody knew. It's word of mouth. Information is power, and we want to be safe, and we want to make sure that we keep ourselves safe, knowing what's going on when it's happening. Yes,
Thank you.
when it's happening is really important, because we all want to believe we're living in the safest community, but there is
And I
crime
thank you
around
for your
us.
comments.
Thank you.
Your time is expired. Thank you.
Council President, just to note, much like the school board, we have the same constraints at the township. We're guided by what the police department and the prosecutor's office tells us we can or we cannot release. certainly it's not an appropriate use of nixle that every time there is a report of a crime that you would put a nixle alert out. I mean, you could not do that. It would be inappropriate. There's 40,000 calls for service in the township every year. You just wouldn't use it for that. So when an incident happens like as it was outlined, we always are guided by what the police department and the prosecutor's office tell us we can or we can't do. So, we'll follow those rules, but certainly we'll raise it with the police department. And yeah, once again, it's a matter of, what the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office tells our chief of police to do.
Anyone else? Thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment? Hello again.
Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. And yes, I do want to wish the council a very happy holiday, and thank you for your work, and especially to the residents in this town. Great appreciation from a fellow resident when I see them volunteer with no idea of publicity or anything. So they are the real backbone of Monroe, and I am grateful for that. And I am always grateful for Mr. Councilman DePiero, because he always puts out a good information about new businesses in town, and I think that is really extraordinary. And based on some of his comments, I've visited the residents. I visited businesses and participated and supported our business in town. That's truly a leader in our community that wants to see improvement and our businesses succeed, and it helps the residents. So I have enjoyed the new businesses. I'm grateful that they're there and we're promoting them, and I've actually gone into the business in the businesses and told them that you've made mention of them, because I think it's appreciated, and we want our businesses to survive, and especially now with retail, I think, being very difficult to succeed in, we have to try to really promote and support our local businesses. And we want the good ones to come in, and we seem to be getting some very nice ones. We certainly don't want empty buildings or empty shops. So thank you for, once again, having the residents in mind and making it clear. So thank you all very much. I hope going into the new year we can have keep our sustainable New Jersey. I have to say, I don't mean to be negative either, Mayor Delina, but it's somewhat painful to know that we're a sustainable New Jersey, and yet we see bulldozers taking down a lot of our trees. It just seems incongruous to me. I know sometimes it has to happen, but I don't believe that progress requires. It's not really a balance. We're talking about
I'm not arguing
green.
your
And,
opinion, I'm just commenting.
well, I thought I had this floor, but thank you anyway.
I just gave you the floor back again. You're most welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Mayor, do you want me to say something?
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Sure.
Anyone else wish to comment?
Okay.
No, may I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting tonight, please?
Motion.
May I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
So it's
The
8:20.
time is what?
8:20.
Which clock are we using?
That one.
8:20? 8:20 in the evening. Good night, all.
Pizzeria, restaurant, whatever.